Every day life's happening. Some days are more eventful. Others, living protected with insurance you can depend on changes your life for the better. We insure the people and things you care about. Not Agency. We'll help you find the right coverage so when life happens, you have the right insurance protection for your family and business. When life happens, live protected. Agency for all your insurance needs.
Good morning and welcome to Radio Friends on Tuesday, April the 11th. My friend over here, Mel Zelenak, is with us today if he can tear himself away from traveling. We're glad that you work us in here in between your numerous cruises that you have.
Yeah, you make it sound like we travel all the time. We don't. We're home most of the time.
Consumer and travel tips. It's a pleasure to have you. Today we are going to talk about cruises,
We
right?
are. We're going to talk about cruises. Perfect time of the year to do it. Just one or two small announcements to begin with. Fiduciary rule update. I said we probably would have a final rule by the next time I'm on. Well, lo and behold, it's still in the courts. Mm-hmm. It's in the Fifth U.S. District Court of Appeals, and it's likely it's going to be anywhere from 60 to 180 days before the rule takes effect, if indeed it ever does take effect.
All right. And we've covered in the past what the fiduciary rule is, so I don't think we need to go into that today.
Let's not do it.
Then what is the other one?
The other thing I want to cover is there's a brand new book out by Tony Robbins called Unshakable. It really talks about much of the stuff that we talk about on this radio show.
Called Unshakable.
Unshakable. He wrote Money. It was a very thick and fairly complicated book about 2 years ago. This just came out. It's a very easy read. And basically, he's suggesting what Warren Buffett suggests and I suggest. Index funds, preferably Vanguard index funds.
Okay, Unshakable, Your Financial Freedom Playbook by Tony Robbins, and it just now came out.
Yes, it's in the library. It will be returned tomorrow.
Okay, you got it. Now, that's right, because you would check it out from the library, so you don't have to buy it
Absolutely.
yourself. Right? Mel and Warren Buffett, they're real close buddies. All right, now cruises.
Cruises. This is our favorite mode of transportation, mode of vacationing, for a number of different reasons. But I'm going to try and give you some tips that we've learned over the years. And the first one I'm going to give you is don't overpack. And I'm actually wearing what I typically wear on a cruise ship to dinner. And
So if you go on a cruise, you don't need, you think of going on a cruise. Now, I've not been on a cruise, Mel, for over 40 years.
Well, you went on that crazy cruise line.
But anyway, you don't have to dress for dinner?
This is probably as well dressed as most people are on a cruise anymore.
But you used to think, it used in the old days, a coat and tie, even a tuxedo, was common, right?
Up to about 5 years ago, on a formal night, I would say 70% of the men on a celebrity cruise, for example, would be wearing tuxedos. Now they don't even have formal nights anymore on celebrity.
Okay.
And basically almost no one wears a tuxedo anymore.
All right, so just go very casual.
It depends on the cruise line too. Holland America is going to be more formal, for example. Royal Caribbean is going to be less formal even than celebrity. Same with Princess. Most of the mainline ones, with the exception of Holland America, are going to be very informal anymore.
Okay, so that's number one. Don't overpack. Number two.
Don't overpack and wear wash and wear clothing. That's what this is. This can be worn several times on a cruise. Do you know how much weight I have on me today with everything I have, including my shoes?
Probably a pound and a half.
2 pounds.
2 pounds.
Yeah, 2 pounds. And normally you're up to 5-6 pounds.
Yeah,
So.
okay.
Number two, is cruising expensive is a typical question that's asked. You can get it as low as, and these are fairly frequent, as low as $50 per person, not including taxes, for an inside cabin.
$50 per
person,
night,
per day. I'm sorry.
Per day, okay.
Yeah. Or as high as, and I just checked it, per person, $2,500 per day.
Okay.
$5,000 a day, in other words, if you want to go on silver seas.
Okay, well, that's a little bit out of my category.
Okay.
But $50 a day. $50 a day, and does that include all of your meals too?
Yeah, I want to tell you, almost all of the vacations that we take on cruises, we very, very seldom pay anything more than the taxes and the fees, which are added on. Gratuities are typically added on, but you could even waive some of those if you have a bad experience with somebody some steward on board, for example. Almost never do that because you'll never have a bad experience.
But
really.
you're telling me if you find a cruise at $50 a day, that includes all of your meals too?
Includes all of your meals except meals that you want to do on your own. For example, you could do specialty restaurant meals. Those can cost anywhere from $25 per meal up to $50, $60 per meal.
Otherwise you have the meal in the restaurant.
Meals, some non-alcoholic drinks are included. Iced tea, lemonade, milk, so forth are free. Most activities, and typically activities start at 8 o'clock in the morning and they end as late as 1 o'clock in the morning.
Okay, when you think about going on a cruise, what is not included?
What's not included are alcoholic beverages, typically, sodas, dinners in specialty restaurants, shore excursions, spa treatments, and I mentioned before, gratuities.
Okay.
But you don't have to do any of those, with, again, the exception of gratuities. I don't think we've ever gone on a cruise that we haven't left at least the average utilities, if not more.
Yeah, and you do that at the end of the cruise before you...
Well, what the cruise lines are starting to do now is they're charging it directly to your tab, and it's on a per diem basis. And typically it's going to be anywhere from $10 to $11, $12, $13, $14 a day per person for all of your gratuities combined, which again I think is fairly modest for the service you get on a cruise line.
Yeah. All right, we got about a minute and a half left. Are there any secrets that people are not aware of that you could share with us?
Well, let me run through a few. Most important decision is the cruise line and the ship that you choose. CruiseCritic.com is a fantastic website for that. Another one is, I'm going to mention excursions. We avoid excursions most of the time that are run by the cruise line. They're overpriced, and typically you're herded onto buses and you're waiting for people to get on the bus and so forth. We're inclined to do the excursions on our own. And again, Cruise Critic or TripAdvisor would be an excellent source for that. Travel insurance, we used to say it's not worth it. I'm going to tell you it's getting more competitive, but it's also, I'm seeing more and more people having difficulty. And if you don't have travel insurance, you lose the entire amount of your cruise vacation.
That's no good. All right, if you want more information, they can email you at
melscruises@charter.net.
Okay. All right, Mel Zelenak, thank you so much for coming by and sharing your expertise with us.
Thanks, Paul.
Always a pleasure to have you here.
Well, thank you.
All right. Tomorrow, Mid-Missouri Arts Alliance and Meals on Wheels.